everybody. What's up? It's Stephanie Gold coming at you with a new episode of Tarot Solution Shy podcast. This evening I have a very special guest, Miss Kwame Pitts. Kwame, thank you so much for joining us remotely from New York.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yes, so I'm really excited to have you on. I know you have a lot to say to us tonight, and this is going to be a two-part series, so you guys make sure to listen in next week. But let's just get right to it. Kwame, if you could just tell the people a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So, hi, everyone. My name is Kwame. I carry an ancestral name. My mother named me for Kwame Nkrumah, who was the first president of Ghana. And so that really roots me into my life's work, what I've been doing. Currently, I identify as interfaith, to let your listeners know. And that means that currently I am a pastor in New York State, in Western New York, serving a congregation as well as doing campus ministry and working for a faith justice organization. But I'm also very rooted, and my heart still remains in Chicago with my Ile. I'm very proud to be an initiate and part of Temple Orisha Ile Ifa with our Padrino Victor Guzman. So excited to be a part of that house and to be integrated into Ifa and what that means for my life. But also, I would also say I've also had an experience where I was introduced into Haitian voodoo. And so there is a Loa or spirit that continues to walk with me. She's made her presence very well known. Has visited me a couple of times. So
oh, wow.
That's kind of where I am. And the reason why I identify this way is that, and this is what I say to a lot of people, that, number one, Christianity has failed people of the African diaspora in addressing racism, oppression, and marginalization. The second thing is that our ancient traditions, should never take a backseat to Christianity. I've heard way too many times that Christianity is like someone say, "Oh, well, I'm Christian, but I'm also a Buddhist," or "I'm Christian, I'm also that," and it's sort of like it takes a back step. But Ifa, Voodoo, Santeria, all of those things are just as powerful and just as important, especially in the healing that happens, that needs to happen with our people, especially in these days and times.
So can you give, how did you get to this point?
So both my husband and I have been studying for many, many years the world's religions and trying to find out where we were going to root our family. My husband's formerly Catholic, and I was raised Baptist until I was in middle school, and then my mother joined the Lutheran Church, and that's where we've been ever since. But I realized as I got older and I began to think about going into seminary, that there was also something missing, and seeing sort of the disparity that I had seen in my own denomination and throughout Christianity. Kelly Brown Douglas coined this phrase, Platonized Christianity, which means Westernized Christianity, American Christianity is the tool of the empire. And so when it came to things such as racism, Black Lives Matter, and not only just for folks of the African diaspora, but like all folks that have been oppressed and suppressed and forced to assimilate, I realized that there was no healing in Christianity for what the generational and the historical trauma I was carrying in my DNA.
Wow.
So a couple of years ago, my friend Francisco Herrera actually introduced to me Sandra, who's my god sister, our god sister, I should say.
Right.
And Sandra ended up introducing us to Baba Victor Guzman, and the rest is kind of history.
Right.
And I've just been very studying and going deeper about that. So that was my sort of introduction to Ifa. And I've just been very aware that I've known, heard, seen things, other things I could not explain. And very interested in ritual and how that can be used as a resource toward healing, generational healing, historical healing, generational and historical trauma that Ifa, Voodoo, and other traditional and ancient spiritual practices and faiths could actually be what we need, especially, again, in a time when our bodies are not seen as sacred and our bodies are not seen as mattering.
Wow. So, no, I mean, that's amazing that you were able to come to that point, and the fact that because I know myself, having a Christian background and having a background in Christian ministry, that's really looked at, or the denomination that I was from, it was very taboo. So how has that experience been for you? Have you had criticisms or have you had support?
So I will definitely say this. The way I've had to sort of integrate my African spirituality into what I do in my daily life is that I've had to introduce it very theologically and very academically to folks who are not of the diaspora or who are more European American, etc. Because that's the only way they understand it, and they also are not threatened by it. Within my own community, there have been a lot of people I've been having conversations with about, so how do I balance the two? To also, like, I really pretty much lost a very good friend because when I started going back to church, and her comment to me was like, thank God, I'm so glad that you turned away from that voodoo stuff, that evil stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so that was kind of shocking, realizing the stupidity of some people who don't know anything about anything. And so that's kind of what I've gotten. But because I've seen more and more in these days and times that folks are more embracing this and asking these questions about, can we go back? So can we do this? Is it okay? And so I've just been sort of walking people through all of this.
Okay.
And so I'm also very protective of it. Like, I would never ever come out and say I'm this, that, or the other if I did not have a community that I can be a part of.
Right. Absolutely.
And so even here now, being here in Western New York, I've started a healing collaborative group of women who have all pretty much had some of the same experiences that I have, and they are in different practices, in different ancient practices that are fulfilling and whatever, and so we can all come together and do justice work and also support each other in our faith practices that we do.
Wow, that's awesome. I like that a lot. How long have you had that going on?
When I got here, a couple of months after I got here, actually really beginning in January of 2020, is when this all kind of started. We all started to meet, and then, of course, unfortunately, COVID happened. So yeah, a lot of it's now been, Zoom meetings and stuff like that, and trying to support each other from afar.
I had to improvise, exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
So you do a lot in the community. What else? What are other programs or groups that you use, as a tool in the community?
So one of the groups I've been a part of for now about 2 years is Mystic Soul Project.
Okay.
Mystic Soul Project is out of Chicago, and they held a huge conference about 2-3 years ago around healing and hope, but also exploring different faith traditions, anything from mediumship, tarot, to Ifa, to voodoo, to Santeria, to like pagan, et cetera, like all of these things. And so I found a place and a home in that space where I could actually just be natural, and no one was thrown off of the fact that I am also a pastor. They kind of accept it, and that's the hilarious thing. Every faith tradition I keep finding,
they accept it.
Right, they accept, except for Christianity.
Wow. Wow. That's all I have to say.
Every faith tradition accepts Christianity, except Christianity to others. And so, like, that's really one major place besides the Elay that I had found. The other one is I'm a part of a society. As I told you, I have been involved with Haitian Voodoo. I'm not officially a part of any sort of house in that religion and that faith practice, but I found Mambo, who's on the West Coast, has accepted me into her society, into her house online, because a lot of her folks are spread out.
Okay.
And so that's also another place where I can also connect with that and do more, more research. Because that's the other thing I should say. I didn't just decide, I'm going to do Ifa and just do it. That's not how it happened. And I will tell people, and I've told them this before, be careful what you wish for, because when I started getting involved with voodoo, I explicitly asked the Creator, let me know if this is something I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Well, I had a mini possession. That's all I can describe it as.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, I guess this stuff is real. And I asked the Creator, like, okay, if this is true, like, I need to have something true. I need to know this is real. Well, yep.
He let you know. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, well, thanks for letting me know in this way. Wow. But I also do my research, and also, because, like, if people come to me and they want to see me as someone like, oh, can I learn this from you? I need to be knowledgeable with it first before I start any of that stuff.
Exactly.
And that's part of the Healing Collaborative, that I'm able to still do that work, and even while I'm still learning. So, like, I'm grateful to be a part of Mama Chita's society or her house online, because we're still continuing a conversation about voodoo and what that path is. And the readings that I have gotten basically have said that I'm kind of on this multi-path. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to enjoy this ride, as long as it goes.
And it's amazing because with coming, a lot of people may try and, like you said, and hide that and not disclose it, but with coming out with it, you found so many other people, and like you said, you're a conduit of healing, really, in the community, bringing that healing from the trauma and everything. So I want us to continue talking about that a little more on the next episode. Did you have anything before we wrap up now that you wanted to add?
No, let's look and see what happens next week when we talk. Think of some further questions, and we'll keep digging.
Yes. No, but thank you guys. The bio and for Kwame is there, and the information. You guys click, support all the movement, everything that she's doing. Thank you for tuning in. And next week we're gonna get deeper into the subject of having interfaith and how that's a healing tool in the community. So thank you again, Kwame. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys
Appreciate
have a great night, Ashe.